roaring.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone is back. Let's continue with our second session titled Home and Care and Behavior. So let's start with our next session. Anirdesh, can you please, all of you, please turn off your video. Anirdesh will start this session now. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello everyone. I'm Kirtika studying in grade 9 from Vidyanjali Academy for Learning and I stay at Bangalore. My research is about how I created COVID care geographies at home. Love begins by taking care of the closest ones, the ones at home. I came to experience this when it really happened to me. It is a fast moving world where every individual focuses on their own well being and tends to ignore others' love and compassion. 1 year of pandemic and lockdown spent with our families brought us together in our comfort zone. Here, comfort zone means our home. A home cannot be defined as comfort zone unless and until we are comfortable with the people we live. Though COVID-19 had brought lot of disadvantages, it had equal amount of advantages which brought a positive fragrance within my family. I came to realize this when my mother fell unwell. She was confined to her bed and could barely speak. Later, she was diagnosed as COVID positive. But I didn't feel depressed. Instead, I started motivating her to cope up with the situation. I took responsibility and tended to her needs, and also I shared happy memories of my school. All this was done by following COVID-19 protocol. Our relatives were also very supportive, which made me to feel more confident. My dad lost his job. The situation turned with loss of my father's job. We never gave up. In fact, we spent most of our time experiencing the beauty of nature and catching up with the past. Our family came out stronger from the situation. Later, as the COVID cases came down, our family continued to follow the COVID-19 protocols, which included washing your hands frequently, maintaining social distancing, avoiding traveling unnecessarily, and wearing masks. This pandemic made me to build a loving bond with my dear ones. Unless and until we fall prey to unprecedented situation, we fail to realize the value of true love. This is a great lesson which I learned during COVID-19 pandemic. I like to conclude by telling you that first, kill the bad virus which is within you called ego and spread love and care to those around you. That's what geography teaches. Thank you.
Hello everyone, hope you are doing good. I am Harshita in 9th grade from Purna Learning Center. The place where I live is a place where you can see people love and care for pets. I love pets very much, but I still don't have a pet for myself. During the pandemic, I wanted a pet terribly because I was so bored in the house. I gradually started thinking how many people might have thought about getting a pet during COVID. This led me to my research question. What are the challenges the pet owners might have faced during COVID? And what are the change in their behavior and feelings during COVID? To do the survey, I chose to go and meet pet owners in person. I made a questionnaire with 9 questions. I conducted the survey in the 2 main parks in my locality. This map shows location of my house and the 2 main parks of my survey, Sankey Tank and Sadashivnagar Park. I knew I can meet pet owners in these 2 main parks in the morning and evening. I met 39 pet owners and asked them the questions. To the question, what are the challenges you faced with pet during COVID? The analysis of the responses I got. More than 50% of the people did not face any major challenges. Some faced financial challenges and managing time during COVID. Few people were having a problem with the meat supply during lockdown and taking the dog for walk during quarantine. I asked how did they resolve the challenges. Some indicated that starting giving home food and toilet training the dog. To the question, what are the changes you did for your pet during COVID? 54% of the pet owners indicated providing extra space as a major change that was done by them. The reasons include disturbance to the people who are working from home and children during online classes. Around 36% of the people indicated spending more time with the pet during COVID, and the remaining 10% of the people did not do any change. To the question asked, did you feel like giving away the pet to an animal shelter? Almost all said no to this question, even though 34% of the respondents faced challenges as indicated in the previous slide. Most of the people did not think of giving away the pet. 3 people who said yes but did not do so. When I asked the pet owners how was the bond between you and your pet during COVID, 14% of the people felt as way they felt before COVID, but 86% of the people said that love towards the pet has increased because they spent more time with the pet. People who got the pet during COVID. Out of the 39 pet owners I surveyed, 12 people got the pet during COVID. Out of the 12 people who bought the pet during COVID, 8 people got the pet because their children forced them to, and 4 people got the pet so that they can come out of work stress. Now I conclude, many people took more effort to provide extra space and time to their pet. A less number of people faced challenges with the pet and found solutions for those. I could say people's love and care toward pets has increased. Behavior and feelings towards their pet has changed. The relationship between the pet and pet owner has changed during COVID. We have got opinions from different people, but one of the common response we got is that the relationship between the pet and the pet owner has become better than before. And also, having a pet can make you feel stress-free. Limitations of my survey. Most of my questions were open-ended, so people seem to have interpreted differently. I could have given them options. Not enough time to get clarification on the responses. I could have done a pilot survey with my family and a few friends that would have helped me form the questions with more clarity. I could have done the project in a more organized manner. What I learned during this project. This project taught me how to work with patience, how not to give up, improved my language very much, gave confidence and courage to do something in which I'm really interested in, how to find an answer for a research question, how to make a pie chart using Excel sheets. Thank you.
Individually, we are a drop. Together, we are an ocean. Happy day to all. Today, I and my friends are here to present a report on COVID care by family and neighbors. This is me, Ashika, and my friends Lavanya and Madhumita from Vidyanjali Academy for Learning. So, before we proceed ahead, I have a question for everyone. Is it important to care for ourselves and others during the times of COVID 19? Yes or no? The answer is yes. The main reason to care for ourselves and others is for survival. And nextly, how self care makes you to maintain a healthy relationship with you itself. And caring for others increases connection with people and builds strong relationships. Then, how can we care for ourselves during the times of COVID 19? By following three precautions. Those are wear a face mask, use a sanitizer, maintain social distancing. So, do you think these three precautions are enough to fight against the virus? After doing the research, I found out that no, these precautions are not enough to fight against the virus. As after we follow these precautions also, we can see so many people getting affected by COVID-19. Then what can we do? So I had again done a research on how to be healthy during times of COVID-19. I found out that you need to have good immunity and mental health. Immunity means the ability of an organism to resist a harmful microorganism. This, if you have this immunity, then there are chances that you cannot be affected by COVID 19. And mental health. Mental health is a state of mind when he or she understands their own abilities and can cope up with the daily normal stress and work productively. If you have mental health or if you're mentally healthy, then the, then it motivates you to be healthy and follow all these precautions. The next question that arose into my mind was, how can we boost our immunity and be mentally healthy? So, for this, I thought of inquiring my neighbors and and I had bought a research work in front of you. My neighbors and I live in an apartment called Infinite NR Greenwoods. Here, there are 48 flats and nearly 200 people live here. This is a huge number. So, the apartment association and the people individually have taken a few steps, precautions to fight against the virus. So, let us look at them. The answers given by the residents of the apartment are as follows. Maintain a healthy diet, look at the plants, talk with your near and dear ones, don't use more social media. Maintain a healthy diet means a healthy diet consists of all the required nutrition like macro and micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, required food energy, and etc. Healthy diet is like following, like drinking plenty of water, reducing sugar and salt, and also eating healthy foods like green leafy vegetables, drinking lemon water, eating sprouts, fruits and vegetable salads, and etc. Looking at plants. Looking at plants are like plants are like stress busters. If you look at plants, they will remove all your tensions and stress. It and makes you enthusiastic. It is preferred to look at plants at early mornings like a fresh start for the whole day. Talk with your near and dear ones. Due to the lockdown, we all are locked at homes. There is no way of having a physical contact with your friends, relatives, neighbors, etc. So pick up your phones, call your neighbors, friends, etc., relatives, and talk with them. And you can cherish all your happy memories with them. Don't use more social media. Using more social media may aggravate your tensions and stress, as people might post fake messages related to COVID 19. And the next one is the apartment association's efforts. Even the apartment has taken few precautions to reduce the attack of COVID 19. They spoke about the importance of face masks and hand sanitizations. They also told how to cover coughs and sneezes. Secondly, no delivery boys were allowed inside to deliver things. We people were only asked to go near the gate and collect whatever things were ordered. Nextly, the the people had posted at and pasted all COVID-19 precautions that were to be taken on the walls at the basement. They motivated everyone to do meditation and etc. and exercise for at least 15 minutes a day. Finally, they also planted trees, ornamental plants, flowering plants, and etc., and asked people to take care in their free times, as it can reduce the stress and it will be a diversion for people instead of thinking about their busy life. So this is how mm, my apartment people has done to reduce the stress, tension, be mentally healthy, at the same time physically healthy, care for everyone and each other. Thank you.
Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. I'm Avnira from grade 8th. I study in Vidyanjali Academy for Learning in Bangalore, where the population is approximately 1.27 crores. This is the chart to show the growing population of Bangalore. My place of research is my house and its surrounding. It's located near Sultanpalayam, Antinagar, Bangalore. In my apartment, there are totally 8 flats and most of them are youngsters and middle-aged people. So my research question is, what are the ways in which we are caring for one another during the pandemic? So as you know, many of our neighbors had been infected with COVID. They became most COVID safety conscious and they also took precautions like wearing masks, washing hands, restricting their travels, and also maintaining social distance. Southern Mansion Association were the key people for initiating the caregiving program. The daily wage workers had lost their job due to the lockdown, so we helped them with the groceries of the month. Now I have a question for the people staying in an apartment complex. What was the culture of care in the apartment complex before the pandemic? Did it exist in a different way? Are these practices of care continuing now or have they changed? If so, how and why? So most of your answers would be yes. So the residents of the housing society used to have a cordial relationship before the onset of pandemic. We used to wish each other whenever we crossed paths and also took time to ask each other's well-being. While the pandemic was going on, we tried to maintain the same, but keeping in the mind of the COVID protocols. So, I'm gonna interview 2 of my neighbors who are living in the same apartment as me. So let's start with Mr. Amog Malya, who is a student of B Pharma. So, Mr. Amog Malya, your first question is,
Okay.
precaution is better than cure. When the first wave of pandemic hit, what was your response to it? Did you take precautions?
Yeah, first wave of pandemic, it's a once in a lifetime thing. I was not sure of it, what would happen and all. So the response you could say was like I was scared of what would be the future and all. The precautions was like as we are neighbors, still before the COVID and all, we used to hang around. We used to go for birthday parties of the same people. But then after the pandemic hit, like you remember, we were staying at a home wearing only with the family members. Yeah.
Did the pandemic affect the mental health of you and your family while being stuck at home for a long time?
Yeah, the pandemic hit it affected the mental health because I was scared about my future. Like if the school don't reopen, and how would the classes carry on? How would I get promoted to the next class? So I was kind of tensed and stressed, like what would be my future? And also we couldn't play football, basketball, so full day we had to sit at home and full day mobile and all. The addiction would be more, and it was more a stressing situation. Yeah.
What precautions were taken when your college reopened after the lockdown ended?
So our college was very strict about the COVID thing. So it was like alternate days college for us, like one day for juniors and one day for seniors. So it was like in a class of 100, there were only 50 people sitting at once. So it was social distancing was maintained very strictly, and even the masks and the sanitizers were compulsory.
Okay. What do you think about the after effects of COVID-19 that we are facing currently?
Yeah, the after effects, I'm not so sure. But then, even after the COVID goes, we'll not be able to move as freely as we used to do prior to COVID. Like there'll still be a small tinge in our head that the other person may be affected, maybe he's ill or sick. So we'll have the tinge in it, and the bigger aspects like the economy and all, it may be good. It may be better than the current situation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Amog Malia, for your time.
It's okay. Welcome, Amli.
So next, I'm going to interview Mrs. Namrita, who is working as a Director Program Delivery. So Mrs. Namrita, your first question is, precaution is better than cure. When the first wave of pandemic hit, what was your response to it? Did you take precautions?
Hi. So, Avni, yes, when the first wave of pandemic hit, there was a lot of, worry initially. There was a lot of anxiety around it. It was an unknown virus. We didn't have too much information. In fact, there was too much information that was shared. So you didn't know what to take and what not to take. But I think we followed all the precautions and which were given as the guidelines by the government.
How did the pandemic affect your personal and family life?
So to begin with, personal and family life, I would say it affected us overall. The kids could not go to school, so they had to be at home. As parents, we were working parents, so we couldn't go to office. So, and this is a big shift that has happened, for all of us to be at home at the same time. Working in separate rooms because you need privacy. Online classes are happening, our calls are happening. So everybody's at home, but in different rooms. That's a very different environment, which is not a normal environment. And as adults, I think we could manage easier, but as children, it did take time for kids to adapt. But again, kids are the most resilient. They got used to that. Family life, it helped it did have its pros and cons. Family life, I think we all got to spend a lot more time at home.
How did the pandemic affect your career?
Okay, so this is an interesting question. So in my case, because I'm working on a platform and the platform that we have is a remote platform, which basically means it's a recruitment platform which you have access to from any part of the world. So I can sit anywhere in the world and work. I can work very well remotely, and also the platform that we have, which my company has, provides the opportunity for people across the world to work on a remote basis.
What do you think about the after effects of COVID-19 that we are facing currently?
So I think again the after effects of COVID would be mixed. Okay, people are so desperate to get out because they've been at home. So there are going to be a lot of people going out to a lot of places. Though we don't have 100% vaccination, so there are chances of the COVID-19 not fully going away. It will still linger around. But I think as human beings, we are social, so we have to go out, after a certain point of time. So that will bring a lot of happiness to people. But at the same time, you have to be aware that if you're going to take the risk and go out, then there are possibilities of you catching the virus.
Thank you, Mrs. Namrata, for your time.
You're most welcome, Avni. It was lovely chatting up with you.
After doing a proper research and conducting an interview with my neighbors, I conclude that the youngsters were concerned about their future. Most people followed the COVID-19 protocols. COVID has had a mixed effect on people. It taught us the value of people and importance of time. COVID has badly affected our economy. It gave us the time to work on our hobbies and interests. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Smriti from grade 8. I study at Vidyanjali School, which is in Bangalore. So, during this pandemic time, we all heard this word called self care. So, what exactly is self care? Self care is nothing but the ability of a person to maintain his or her health with or without the support of a doctor or a healthcare provider. So, when I searched deeper into this topic, I found out that there are different types of self care. A few types of self care are physical self care, mental self care, social self care, spiritual self care, and practical self care. So, today we will talk about self care during COVID 19. So, when I said self care during COVID, the first thing most of you thought was wearing a mask, maintaining social distance, using alcoholic based sanitizers, and washing your hands frequently. When I asked the same to my neighbors, what is the first thing which strikes your mind when you hear COVID self care? And I think many of you already know what answers I got. And you are absolutely right. The same thing which I mentioned above, wearing mask, maintaining social distance, washing hands, etc. But are we all following the protocols? Are we wearing our mask properly? Are we maintaining social distance? I'll share my experience. Recently, I had been to my hometown. There, I saw people roaming without masks. For example, if I take 15 people, I could hardly see only 3 to 4 people wearing masks. We should also take some precaution measures in our daily lives. Like in my house, we wash the fruits and vegetables immediately after getting them home. We also sanitize and clean the door handles, mobiles, and remotes very often. My father takes bath immediately after getting back from the office, and his clothes will be kept and washed separately. We clean the sinks and washrooms every day. With this being said, I conclude my presentation. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Nirdesh, there should be one more presentation, no? Smriti, do you have it?
So that already played, sir. That one, the latest one was sir.
Oh, that was Smriti's, was it? Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Sorry, I looked away for a moment and missed it. Okay, thank you all for your excellent presentations. As we did before, we'll start off with feedback from Dr. Mutata to start us off for the Q&A session. Dr. Mutata.
Okay. So it's kind of difficult to choose who to speak to or comment about because all the presentations were very good. And I really want to congratulate everyone. This is a slightly younger group in this session, and it takes a lot of courage and commitment to carry out the research, to work consistently, and to put a presentation together so meticulously. So congratulations to all the presenters in this group. And let me see. All the topics were very interesting and very personal, you know. So what we say in TIGS is you should make the research personal, then only you can really make a change. So congratulations on that as well. I think my question will be to Kirtika, my comment is a very nice exploration of your home geography, and you very nicely related all the external economic and pandemic related events to the effects in your home. I just wanted to ask you, have you read Dr. Chandrasekhar's book, Geography Everywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so your presentation reminded me of the essays in Dr. Chandrasekhar's book. So I think you're well on your way to becoming a good geographer. So I said we have a PDF copy online, so I think you'll really enjoy it. So do pick it up and read a few chapters in that. You'll enjoy it. And Harshita, very nice research topic, and you have really demonstrated how you can dig deeper into your data. You know, so like the fruit bowl that I was talking about, you've gone out, bought the fruits, you've laid it on the table, and you've looked at the differences between all the fruits. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I think you can really extend your research also by interviewing, people who run animal shelters, people who cared for street animals. You can interview government officials like the BBMP, and also look at different types of pets. So that's one comment for you. And Ashika, Lavanya, et al. I want to hear from each of you. What did each one of you do in the research work? Can you tell us a little bit about each one of you and what part of the research did you do? And maybe also I'd like to hear from all three of you or anyone. Amongst all the presentations that you've seen so far in the first session and this one, can you talk a little bit about any particular presentation that you enjoyed and why you liked it? What touched you about those presentations?
Happy afternoon. Happy morning, ma'am.
Morning.
I'm Lavanya, and the part I liked the most was interviewing people. I also took the interview of my people. The people of my apartment, and mostly they spoke about staying at home and enjoying yourself rather than going out and following protocols and being stuck in that world. So they told me that you need to enjoy in your home, and at your home you need to be strong, you need to be healthy. And I also met the old age people, and they were like, you need to drink turmeric milk, you need to take steam that will keep you healthy from inside. So after following all these protocols, me and my family are safe, and safe from 1 year. So due to IGYS, I've got to speak to my neighbors, and I've learned something from them which I could inculcate in my life, and which helped me and my family to stay healthy in the times of COVID. So I would thank IGYS for all this, and I've learned many things.
Okay, thank you. What about your teammates? Do any of them?
Yes, ma'am. So can I speak?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So happy morning, everyone. So as my friend told, even I have done a few research. I have asked many people. So there are so many people who get up in the early morning and go for a walk. So that's what I got inspired. At the same time, my family members are also took a few precautions. We asked many people, like we contacted a few doctors few geographers on how to be healthy, how to be mentally healthy, because if you're mentally healthy, it's the time that you can fight against the virus. So as it motivates you. I also liked Kirtika's presentation as it was all about your emotions that encourages others to be healthy, because when you motivate one to be healthy, they feel like someone is encouraging you and there's someone to help you always. So thank you.
Who else in that team? Would you like to add something to that? Who else was in your team, Ashika?
It was Madhumita, sir. She actually didn't pay the registration fees, so she couldn't join the meeting.
Ayyo. Fine, no problem. We'll contact her and get her ideas at some point, hopefully. Yeah, good. Any other questions or comments, Dr. Mutata?
I think Sunil has a comment. Let Sunil take over.
Okay, Sunil, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to, I have forgot, with all the names, I have forgotten the name of the girl who did the presentation about the pets.
Harshita.
Harshita, I read your abstract on the site before the conference, and I had put a note saying I'm looking forward to seeing your final presentation, and I am very impressed. So thank you. I know a lot of pets have suffered. I know a lot of pets have been abandoned by families who either moved away or because of financial reasons couldn't take care of their pets. Our heart does go out to each one of those pets, but unfortunately there is not a lot we can do. As Dr. Mutata suggested, you should try to contact pet shelters and see what can be done in such cases. And as one cat lover to another, I just want to say congratulations and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Good. Feline fans. Harshita, do you want to respond to Mr. Sunil?
Yeah, so while doing this project, I also had a personal experience of seeing 2 street dogs which was dead in my neighborhood.
Oh, dear.
And this was really heart touching for me. And then that's the reason why I took up this question and I started a project on this.
Very good.
And I'll surely continue with it. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a question from Mr. Gurudatta posted on the chat window. Mr. Gurudatta, would you please speak out the question?
Yes.
Specifically to Avni Rao.
Yes, sir. Yeah, all presentations in this session were good, very interesting. I think earlier I also put one statement that everybody is talking about limitations of research and conclusion lesson learned. This is very important because as you all grow up and become, enter graduation, post-graduation, and even doctorate, all these things, the important thing of all research is that you should be able to identify what is your limitations and what are the lessons learned. So good, you're all in a good path in that context of research. But my question right now is more on a technical aspect. I saw Avni Rao had slides wherein she's interviewing people. I'm very curious, how did you do that? I would also love to learn from you so that I can do such slides.
Avni, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So first what I did is I had conducted a Zoom meeting with the interviewers. And then after that, I recorded the whole meeting and I had added the video in the PowerPoint. So this is how I had inserted the video.
Very good. Very well done.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. For my part, I find all presentations interesting simply because it's children making this kind of effort, as Dr. Mutata also has pointed out, and so many others have pointed out as well. This is simply very impressive. Every time I've gone through an abstract for IGYS or seen a presentation, I remember what I was like at that age. There is no comparison. This is way beyond anything I could have imagined myself to have been. Excellent. Any other comments, questions anybody would like to make, including the presenters? Would any of you like to make any comment? We have a minute or two.
Is Smriti here? Smriti?
Smriti,
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
there she is. Smriti, can you turn your video on?
Sir, actually, I'm in my native, so there is a
Oh,
network
bandwidth
issue.
issue. I see, no problem, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Smriti, can you share with us something that you enjoyed about your research?
Ma'am, I enjoyed interviewing people because I am very afraid of talking to new people and communicating with others. So I also learned about self-care and why is it actually important.
Mhm.
And also, I would thank IGYS for selecting my abstract and uh, like I could research on the things which I never found important.
Okay, thank you, Smriti. And I would encourage you also to look up the book Geography Everywhere, which we have on our website. I think you'll really enjoy the stories there, and it'll help you sort of further deepen your observation skills. You know, one thing that goes along with talking to people and overcoming your fears of talking to people is that you also learn to pay attention to lot of small details about you, and that is a very important skill that geographers should have. So do read that book, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, we are now almost back on track with time, just 2 minutes behind schedule. So this time we can take a longer break. So shall we return at 11:15 a.m.? We will come back and continue with the final session of today's presentation. Okay, see you all back here at 11:15. Please stay logged in. We'll catch up with you soon.
Ada